To all of you again.
Morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you. In this session,
Morning.
last week we just went through understanding the philosophy of research and the documentation. And in the just today's morning lecture, I had delivered goods on the importance and significance of CBCS pattern of education. And in this session, for about another 60 to 70 minutes, my concern is on letting you know about what is happening in intelligent computing. And perhaps you must have observed in NAP, there are compulsory courses across all disciplines of education, like artificial intelligence, digital fluency, right, and machine learning. Those are made some compulsory topics for any graduate, because today we have reached the level of telling that what is a literacy. When do you say a person is literate? Perhaps it's not that the one who has practiced ABCD of English language and A of Kannada or any alphabets of language and passed through 10 plus education in mathematics and science generally is not looked at as a literate, but the one who has got some knowledge on computing technology, the one who knows how to use computing technology, the knowledge on computers especially, then only we can consider him as a literate person, right? An educated person. So that's the scenario today. Whether we accept it or not, that's immaterial. But that is the society's status today. That is the scenario, right? So we have to get adjusted to it. We got to get used to what called how to use mobile phones effectively, how to use smart technology effectively, right? So every technology, every product, every invention has got both pros and cons now, has got both advantages and disadvantages. But a positive man, a man with a positive mindset would take up advantages rather than looking more at disadvantages. Similarly, in computing technology, tremendous research works have been reported, and making computers so intelligent, like a human being. So today we are talking about computers which are smart, computers interacting with a human being as if the computers are human being, right? You must have interacted with some Alex. Alex, good morning. It also says good morning. Can you switch on the television? Suddenly it switches on the television, right? I mean, it understands your audio, your speech, and acts accordingly. If so, why not? Why not? I have my own system which serves my purpose. So gone are the days, when we were talking about, computers capable of only adding, subtracting, multiplying large quantities. Today, we are not happy with that. Computers which are capable of only doing mathematical operations. So today we are looking at computers which are capable of working like a human being, behaving like my personal secretary. Right? I don't love to have any personal secretary who is a human being, because he or she expects a lot. She may not or he may not turn to my office at the right time, on right time, and or he or she may not be available as in when I want his or her service. So in office assistance, I want, can I think of using my mobile phone? Can I think of using my mobile phone to remind me about my calendars of subsequent events? Can I think of training of my mobile phone to instruct me at 4 o'clock, because 4 o'clock I have got an engagement, because I am too much involved in my office work, I may forget it. Then mobile phone should not only ring up alarm, it should speak out that, Guru, now next 10 minutes you have got to walk out of your office because you have another urgent work. Like there is a personal secretary adjacent to me, standing and advising me and monitoring me or instructing me. Can we think of, I mean, we are looking for computers which will not replace but which will assist, So I'm not looking for any replacement. No teacher can be replaced by any robot, right? An effective teacher cannot be replaced by any machinery component, right? But however, I can make a effective teacher much more inspiring teacher. right? I can teach, I can make a conventional teacher an effective teacher with the support of aiding technology like computer technology. So earlier, every teacher used to use, chalk and talk, draw on the board, write on the board, and talk. Today we can cut down certain writings, cut down certain writings. I cannot completely skip writing. I can cut down certain, writing by creating, slides and display in front of students. And whenever I want to draw the picture, I may not be so effective. I can display the picture on the screen and explain so that it becomes more effective. A conventional teacher can be much more effective, and effective teacher could be an inspiring teacher, right? And so on. So with this supplementary tool we are talking about, not completely a complementary tool. It's not to replace, but to support. So by the use of aiding technology, computing technology, can we make anybody, or can I become a much more accomplisher, a better performer, right? That's what is the thing is now to let you know what is the current paradigm of science, what is happening in computing technology today. How was it earlier? Okay, my slide says that it is a current paradigm of science. Then you may have a question, sir, what were the old paradigms of science? Old paradigms of science. So how many such paradigms were there earlier, and what is this number today? So in my lecture, my interest is to recollect the history and then explain you the way in which the things have been evolved over a period of time, and today what is the we are looking at and where we are working on. And perhaps if time permits, I also tell you that what is being taken place in my laboratory with the support of my research scholars, what we are exploring. And before I forget, I extend my invitation to all of you to visit my laboratory whenever you happen to be in Mysore, and look at the research being pursued by my research scholars towards making computers intelligent in many activities like recognition, like learning, right? And so on and so forth. So let me move on to this. So if I just tell you about, my place, perhaps because majority of you are from outside Mysore, must not have visited. Please keep your audio muted. Please keep your audio muted. I appreciate you people. Unless you are sure that there is no background, please keep your audio muted. So if I just narrate, some words or about my city called Mysore city, I would love to say that it is a city of palaces, city full of gardens. There are many shady avenues and sacred temples. All in all, I say it is an historical place. Look at, you are listening me, right? You are listening me. My audio is being captured, and based on my audio, based on my explanation, you are imagining Mysore city in case if you are not visited. If you have already visited Mysore city, perhaps you are recollecting your earlier visit. If I say city of palaces, then had you visited Mysore city, you would imagine that you are in front of palace. You recollect that day. Please, I expect you to feel so. So then I say it is a city of gardens. If I say city of gardens, you must have spent couple of times in Vrindavan garden, couple of hours, couple of minutes in Vrindavan garden when you visited last time my city called Mysore. Then you recollect. Not only you recollect, you are inside the garden called Vrindavan garden. You would also recollect who are along with you. Your good friend, your family, your others, who are together. You recollect that the way in which you spent your time, the way in which you walked across the Vrindavan garden, you recollect. I wish you experience that, please, if you had visited. If you had not visited so far, right? If you have never visited Mysore so far, just a minute, please. I have a VC's office call. Hello. Yes. Namaste, Krishna Ili. ಮತ್ತೆ ನಾಗಭೂಷಣ್ ಸರ್ದೇನು ಲೆಕ್ಚರ್ ಹಾಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೆ, ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾನು ಖಂಡಿತ 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 ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿ ಆಗ್ಲಿ. ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ, sure. So look at All in all, I say it is an historical place. If you are not visited Mysore, you just imagine about the beauty of Mysore. How is supposed to be that, how is supposed to be, and so on. And it still retains the charm of the old world with its many institutions that propagate Carnatic classical music and dance. We have fine arts colleges, we have music universities. Still, it is known for its good setup of higher education institutions, including University of Mysore. So all in all, I say it's a beautiful city and cultured daughter city of Mother India, because we call India mother. Mysore is a daughter. This is what about my explanation in oral, right? Perhaps you must have built up some imagination about Mysore city. Instead of this, if I present that, look at this is the picture of Mysore Palace. Then this appears to be much more appealing way of presenting the beauty of Mysore city. We have many, we have these type of palaces. We have very attractive palace in Mysore, and this is the Saint Philomena's Church, which represents Mysore culture. This is the holy temples around Mysore city, right? So in between we have Mahishasura, statues picture. There is a behind it, there is a big story, and I also say that these are the pictures of Brindavan garden, and there is a musical fountain. So this is how the Krishnaraja Sagara Dam garden. So if you have visited, you recollect that. Otherwise, you would now appreciate seeing the pictures of the Brindavan garden and predicting the beauty of, or the degree of beautiness of what is called Brindavan garden. I say that we have National Park Bandipur nearby, and Nagaravale nearby Mysore, in surrounding Mysore district. And then we have many interesting falls, and that too because of heavy rains for the last roughly 2 to 3 weeks. Many falls are full of waters. So quite amazing to see those falls running. And Mysore Zoo, an internationally popular zoo. And then we have Bird Sanctuary in Srirangapattanam, which is about 18-20 kilometers away from Mysore. So now these pictures would help you in not only whatever you have heard of my telling you, these pictures would help you to organize, and make up your imagination or your picturization of city much more appealing, much more wonderful, beautiful, right? So okay, so and then this is what is a campus called Manasa Gangotri campus. I am serving. I've been working as professor of computer science, and the one which is to the left of you is our main office called Crawford Hall. The one which is to the right of you is our library building, and one which is in the middle is the Jayalakshmi Palace, a central attractive building of campus. We all live here like kings and queens because of palatial buildings. So this is all about Mysore, Manasa Gangotri campus, University of Mysore. What did you do while learning, while listening to me and looking at all these pictures? Don't consider that perhaps because I've been canvassing more on the positiveness and the beauty of Mysore city. You must have treated me as a person from tourism department. No, I am from the Department of Computer Science. But why I have presented this, I just wanted to let you know, unknowingly there was something going on in your brain. You must have calculated how much is supposed to be the beauty of Mysore city. You must have evaluated, while listening, while looking at these pictures, while listening me, you must have evaluated the Mysore perhaps much more beautiful than my city, right? Something, or may not be so beautiful as my city. Something you must have evaluated. You must have worked out something, or you must have enumerated. You must have figured out or established. You must have inferred something. All in all, what did your brain do unknowingly while listening to me and looking at those pictures was a computation. All calculation, evaluation, figuring out, working out, enumeration, establishment, inferencing, deducting, all in all put together under the same umbrella called computation. This is how the computation is. Okay, so you did some computation based on the data which I had given you. That computation need not be the same, you come out with the same data. Computation, infer something out of it, calculate something out of it, right? So you could discover something out of it. You could mine something out of it. That's what is called, all in all computation. So ability to do such things is what is called intelligent. If somebody I say intelligent, he is capable of computing, he is capable of solving a problem, right? So there is a problem. So how do I find solution? Am I capable of doing it? If I am capable of solving a problem, I say that I am intelligent. But everybody is not equally intelligent. Everybody has got different levels of intellectual ability, and based on its intellectual ability, the complexity of the problem that he can solve varies. Somebody can solve only simple problems. Somebody can solve complex problems, right? Sometimes the one who can solve complex problem will have miserable failure in solving a simple problem. That's a ways with which we exercise our intelligence. We, exhibit our intelligence, right? And so on. So the intelligent is an ability to solve a problem. It is capacity to learn, to acquire knowledge. So look at acquiring knowledge and learning to acquire knowledge. Both are different, right? Acquiring knowledge on mathematics is different. Acquiring knowledge on mathematics, that's what the student does. But learn to acquire knowledge of mathematics. How to acquire knowledge of mathematics? How do I become self-learner? That's more important, right? So intellectual ability is to make you self-learner, right? So the capacity to learn to acquire knowledge, learn to learn, I say. Learning of mathematics is at one end. Learning to learn mathematics is another. So that's what is called higher level intellectual ability. Competency in using acquired knowledge. All in all, to establish myself with others, interacting with others. I want to be a great citizen tomorrow. So in order to be such a great, acceptable citizens tomorrow, I should acquire knowledge. I should be capable of solving a problem. I should learn how to interact with the people. All in all. So look at, this is what intelligent ability of a person. But today, I'm not talking about the ability of a person and the intellectual ability of a person, but my concern is on intellectual ability of a computer. I just bring a new computer, I just install it in my residence. The moment I install it and plug into a network, then it should get itself established across all computers of my community, my own set of people, right? Okay, so the moment I buy a new cell phone and then install it and then give my contact details, suddenly it should establish automatically and get connected to all others. So can we think of such an intelligent computing system? Can we think of such a smart devices? So today we are talking about IoTs, IoT, Internet of Things, not Internet of People I'm talking about. It's not that I have to get connected to you. It is that your mobile is getting automatically connected to my mobile, and my mobile is automatically connected to a grocery shop. That grocery shop, refrigerator is automatically connected to this refrigerator at my residence, and refrigerator at my residence is so intelligent in sensing that there is no vegetable boxes become empty, then suddenly it should send a signal to the vegetable shop nearby my residence. I want 1 kg of carrot, I want 1 kg of beans, I want 1 kg of onion. And if onion is costly today, then automatically it should say that no, I don't want 1 kg, you reduce it to half kg and send it. This is what can those items, those components, those equipment, those objects, things in general, establish themselves a kind of network and communicate each other automatically. So this is what we are talking about today. And such a computing scenario, which exhibits a kind of intelligence is called intelligent computing. Today, computers are becoming smart and smart day by day, and intelligent day by day. So computers exhibiting ability to solve problem, establishing communication across, and learn to relearn. Look at, so in computer scenario, we talk about only learning and relearning. So that's what I mentioned in my last week presentation about research methodologies, learning and relearning, right? Okay, but here computers, as far as computers are concerned, learn and relearning are good enough. But I also spoken about unlearn. Unlearn is very important for a human intellectual level in a person. But unlearn is not so complex for computers because erasing memory is unlearn. So learn and relearn is our concentration, and discovery of knowledge. Given is a pool of knowledge. discovering something which is hidden but not visible directly. How do I do that? How to make computers so intelligent in discovering something automatically? So this is what is today we are addressing all upon. So such a system which is capable of automatically computing, inferencing something out of what is available, a new thing out of what is available, is what is called intelligent computing. If I recollect, the things that we discussed or studied in our school education, looking at this picture, perhaps what really triggers you is that the theory of Darwin's, theory of Darwin's. So theory of Darwin says that, human beings have been evolved from monks, right? In two ways. One is a physical structure, that what you see from left hand to the right hand, physical structure, the animal which used to balance its body with the support of 4 legs has been evolved into another animal. They has been evolved into an animal which could balance the body with the support of only 2 legs. It's the physical appearance, physical structure. Okay. The another one is intellectual, intellectual ability. So the ability of solving a problem, ability of thinking. Earlier, monk, though they could think, but not as human beings. But gradually, the intellectual ability also has increased. These are the 2 ways with which the monks have been evolved into human being later. But this evolution happened not within a period of 1 day, not within a period of even 1 year, but not even within a period of 100 years, 1000 years, but that period was millions of years. Millions of years. Look at that. The period was huge, period was long, very, very, very long. But there used to be change happening. But the rate at which change happened was negligibly small. Right, the rate at which change happened, and because of that, that evolution happened. Otherwise, it would have been called as a revolution. It was not revolution. It was evolution. The change at which, the rate at which the change happened was negligibly small, and millions of years was a period of change. So then, once man has been evolved from monk, he has discovered cultivation. Look at, he has started living with the cultivation. He understood the significance of cultivation, and then he has built up a house and got settled down. And he understood not only the importance of himself, but also the importance of others. So family structure he or she thought of, and then started living together, started living for others. Right, not only for himself but for also others. Then the family, not only one family, families have come together. A village structure came into picture. Right, and then one village to another, then the transportation started. This is how the life has started, right? And growing up. So, and not only, finally he has understood, instead of me helping him, or instead of myself taking support of another human individual, why can't I think of catching hold of couple of animals? He had seen other animals, moving around, creating problems for him. Then he thought of, why can't I think of catching hold of certain animals, if possible, to have a control over them, and then take their support so that I can lead better my life, right? So then he could catch hold of cat, cows, axes, what we call them as domestic animals, So he started. Not only, look at, he not only simply caught them up, but he was so intelligent in giving them a training. He started giving trainings to the animals like dog, cows, axes, and so on and so forth, for the purpose of making use of their service. He wanted to take service from the animals, and in order to take service from the animals, first animals are going to be trained for his purpose. So he started giving training. Look at here. So those axes were given training so that for the purpose of cultivation. Dogs were given good enough training. Another animal was given a training so that he could control. So dogs were given specialized training. Notice here, for crime detection. Even today, our police people use dogs for identifying crimes. And cows or oxes were given training for cultivation purpose. Horses were given, training for raiding. Donkeys were given training for carrying goods. Look at. I mean, the human has grown to that extent of declaring that he himself is the most intellectual animal on the earth without taking certification from any other animal. He has grown up to that level as far as his intellectual ability is concerned, and then could catch hold of a couple of animals and started giving them a specialized training. I mean, no animal could be used for general purpose. Let me underline, no animal can be used for a general purpose. However, a specific animal could be given a specialized training for a special purpose. Horses generally are not used for carrying goods. Donkeys are used for carrying goods, whereas horses are used for riding purpose. And dogs are given specialized. Look at, I mean, similarly, if I just relate to the computer science technology, when I was a student of bachelor's science, bachelor's degree and master's degree, I used to define computers as general purpose computing system, a mechanical device which can be used for general purpose. But today, we don't define computers as a mechanical device. We define them as an electronic device. And more so ever, it is an electronic device which can be used for specialized purpose. Specialized purpose, right? I mean, today we are talking about biometric computing system, teaching aid computing system, orthopedic, radiology computing system, dentist computing system. I mean, the computers are given training for only dentists. Computers are given training for only teachers. Computers are made ready for only orthopedicians, right? And so on. This is what we specialized computing technology. Where I mean, specially tailored computing system. So that's today. So earlier there was a natural intelligence, but this natural intelligence has got to be inculcated into a system which does not live, right? Which is not a living object. So non-living entities. Such non-living entities should be given a training so that non-living entities started working like a human being, started mimicking my intellectual ability for a specific purpose. That's what I call it as artificial intelligence. Probably today, as far as NEP is considered, please look at artificial intelligence has become a common compulsory course of 2 credits across all disciplines of study. So I'm just presenting what is called artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is an area, is a field of study where we are inculcating our intellectual ability into a non-living computers. So that non-living computers started exhibiting certain degree of intelligence, That is what is called artificial intelligence. Soon after these, happened, so he started living happily with the support of his neighbors, with the support of family members, and also with the support of domestic animals. Then he started understanding, observing the nature. He picked up some knowledge from the nature. He observed and then practiced, what is really hidden inside the nature. That is what finding out and practicing what is being hidden in the nature is called science. Science is nothing but that. Science is to understand the nature. Science is to dig out the truth hidden inside the nature, right? So that's what is called science. So the man started observing the nature, started building up some, temples, some buildings, reservoirs, and so on. That's what we call it as evolution of civilization. It was there for about, 14 to 15,000 of years. So we had an evolution of civilization period for about 15,000 years. Millions of years was there a period for evolution of man. Next, subsequently, in terms of thousands of years, there was a period of civilization. During the period of civilization, man could find some truth inside the nature. Look at, even if you go to Egypt today, what you love to see is the pyramids. Look at the sharpness of the edges of the pyramids. Even today, our civil engineers who attend through marathon lectures and gets graduated, attending classes for about 4 years, cannot think of constructing such pyramids, beautiful pyramids, right? But there was nothing like a formal education during that civilization. But the people, our ancestors, could think of that and could construct it, right? So Egyptian civilization, look at this clock. Babylonian civilization is the contribution. This is the contribution of Sumerian civilization. Sumerian and then Babylonian, they are part of each other. So Babylonian civilization has produced this clock, which does not work with the base of 10, Look, I count numbers from 0 to 9 and then start recounting like 10, 11. 11 is 10 plus 1, right? 12 is 10 plus. I mean, a second round, third round counting becomes 30. Fourth round counting is the 40 and so on. But here, this counts for every 60. 60 seconds is 1 minute. 60 minutes is 1 hour. Look at it. It's with the base 60. We are still enjoying. We are still using it. Look at this is the contribution of civilization. People were so great, but they were aware of science. Without that, this would not have been possible. They were aware of science. They learned science, but they studied science, right? But they were not in a position to understand the mathematics of it. They did not bother about what is called theoretical aspects of science, but they practiced it. They presented it. And such a period of civilization where science was in a practice is called empirical paradigm of science. Empirical paradigm of science. Empirical means practical. So it was a science was there in practical sense, not in theoretical sense. So practical sense, empirical paradigm of science. So later what happened, just in 500 years ago, 600 years ago, or 400 years ago. So the great people took birth, like Newton, Thomas Edison, Rudolf Diesel, Stephenson, August Tutu. These people, Bright brothers, these are all the people whom I consider to be, consider them as great visionaries. They are the great visionaries. They could study what was existing, and they could imagine what can be created for the next generation, which is really missing today. If I can sit and understand what is existing today and what is missing today, can I think of creating for the next generation? They spent their life, they sacrificed their life for contributing something to the next generation society. So look at steam locomotives were created by George Stephenson. Rudolf Diesel, contributed diesel engine, and Wright brothers first aeroplane. I want you to look at this picture and remember this picture for a few more minutes. Look at this left bottommost picture. That was the first aeroplane invented, right? And moving pictures, Lumiere brothers contributed. Today, if I am enjoying mobile phone which can capture video running, object under motion, that was the contribution of those brothers. Okay, so Charles Goodyear, August Otto, vulcanization of rubber, and so on. Please look at, these are the people who could contribute something for the next generation, and they understood the science and not only created something, but they also documented it, and they realized the importance of mathematics. They presented everything with the support of mathematics. They modeled them, they implemented them, they contributed. I mean, this evolution of science was there not for thousands of years. Look at, evolution was there for millions of years, whereas the civilization was there for thousands of years, whereas the science era was there for only hundreds of years, for about 300, for about 400 years. I mean, look at, the period is getting reduced. The number of the length of the period is getting reduced, but the change happened is drastic. During this evolution of science, there was a drastic change. It has changed a lot. The style with which the human used to live got totally changed, right? That was the contribution of evolution of science. And during the people have understood the importance of mathematics. They declared mathematics as a language of science. So they canvassed it as a language of science, and that was the paradigm which generally I call it as theoretical paradigm of science. I mean, science was existing, but in the form of practice, that was empirical. Then science continued existing, but in the form of theory, that was mathematics, the theoretical paradigm of science. And observations are the following. What man achieved during thousands of years was relatively little. And you observed that the great change started appearing during the late 19th century and early 20th century. If you recollect your school days, and compare that life and today's life, Probably if you have got one or two children, one or two kids, you must have scolded them, telling that, we were not like you when we were like, you. We were not like you people at your age, you must have scolded them. Why? So you must have presented to your relatives and others, telling that my kid is much more intelligent than myself using cell phone. You must have seen a big change for the last 10 years, right? Just for the last 10 years, you must have changed a big change. I see every day a big change in computer science technology, right? I mean, the change is amazingly started, during the past 50 years. Why 50 years? Even for the last 10 years, in all aspects of life are great and happened very, very fast every day. What you see in the morning, then you see only plot by morning. The moment you go home in the evening from your office, adjacent to your house, there was a plot in the morning, but by evening, some work started, and next day, some small building appeared. Everything happened fast, right? Why? What is the reason for it? The reason is this person called Charles Babbage, the father of computing, who created a mechanical computing system. Though we call him as mechanical, the father of computers, mechanical computers, but today, what we have realized, a digital form, those were the abstract systems recommended by great mathematician called Turing. So actually, Turing is supposed to be the father of digital computers today. But anyway, Charles Babbage invented working mechanical computer. So he is called father of computers. He created. And in 1950s, 1940 plus, Turing recommended, given us a model called abstract model, canvassing that one day he will have a digital computer working on adding, subtracting, recognizing people, working for many cognition activities and so on. Anyway, Charles Babbage could think of such a system earlier, and because of the computing technology, everything is happening today. I see a big change. And such a science, which is because of computational science, is called computational paradigm of science. That is what is current paradigm of science. Today we are into computation. Earlier science was in practice, then was in theory, now in computation. Everything is on computer now. Yeah, all science, everything what you do is on computer today in the form of computation. We are into computer paradigm of science. So why? It increase the use of technology. So because of manual lack of laborers, and because of heavy population, and we go for mechanization. We go for mechanization. The reason is population, use population, and optimal outcome I want, because the laborers cannot continue working with the same efficiency, but computer can continue working ever with the same efficiency. So high productivity, it will improve the productivity. So fast and accurate calculation. Computers are more accurate than a human being. Availability of high computational power and low cost sensor today, especially. Earlier, hardware cost was too heavy, but today hardware has come down to that level, and fast computing systems are there. Hardware wise research has been taken place, and many systems have been invented. Attention by research community. These all because of increase in the use of technology. So we are into computers which are capable of learning to acquire knowledge and skill. Today we have a modality to train computers. We educate computers today, like we are educating students. Similarly we are educating computers. Computers are permitted to learn themselves automatically. So we fix up. I see, because of my eyes I see and learn. Because of my ears I hear and learn. Similarly, you fix up the camera for the computer, let cameras, computer see through the camera and learn and acquire the knowledge. So right, so fix up the mics for the computers and see that it would hear and then acquire the knowledge. So these are what we are talking about, called computing system called machine learning. Machine learning, it's not person learning, it's not individual learning. Machine learning is happening because of artificial intelligence. So machine learning, machine is expected to learn and acquire knowledge automatically, observing the scenario. If there is somebody who is a close friend of mine, in case if he comes to my residence every day for about 10 days, being my close friend, if he comes and sits with me almost as a guest in my residence for about 10 days, on the 11th day, I would say that, Guru, I understood that your son loves to watch so-and-so channel, your mother loves to watch so-and-so channel, your wife wants to, watch so-and-so. And then because of that, I understand that your son loves to eat Mysore pork, whereas your daughter hate eating Mysore pork. How does he understand? Because of his observation day to day. Similarly, if there are cameras set up in my residence, and if all cameras are connected to a single computer, and let the computer observe my activities, my family activity, and then finally after 11th day, computer is expected to behaving like my guest, my good friend. The way in which he explains me, the computer is expected to infer all knowledge and tell me that. Can we do that? Yes, we are doing it. We are accomplishing it because of what is called machine learning today. So this is what is thought in. Intelligence is required, but not for an individual human being learning things. It is a computer learning, a non-living object learning. That's what is called artificial intelligence. So look at here some example patterns for you. Look at these pictures. Perhaps you would understand that there are pictures belonging to certain categories. For example, Nokia is an advertisement, right? There is a pickle box. That's a food item, and perhaps there is a complaint. That's a food item. And to the right top, there is an advertisement. So Sampark Kisi in Kannada, something like that. That's an advertisement, right? So there are some shelves where books are kept in the first top. Left top is a library. It represents a picture of a library. You can understand in your own way without even I explain it. If I don't explain it, you would understand in your own way, and then put them into some clusters. This picture is made up of books, and this is the third row, third book. Third image, the bottom third image. Perhaps it also has a picture of a collection of books. The first one and that one are more closer, whereas pickle, is a glass pitcher is a fruit item, and then there is what is called a Maggie is a fruit item. So complaint is a picture related to food. So you can put them together. You can classify. You can categorize them into some groups. Some groups. Look at here. There are library. These are the pictures representing food items, and these are the pictures representing advertisement. So 12 have been grouped into 3 categories. If I can do it naturally, why not my computer? If these 12 pictures are given to computer has to look at those pictures through its camera and then categorize them and make certain groups. This is one type of learning. Learning individual picture. Understand individually the pictures, and then relate a picture to a picture, and then try to identify a pair of pictures exhibiting a high degree of similarity, pair of pictures which are not related. If there is a pair of pictures which are not related, keep them separately. If there are 2 pictures which are strongly related, keep them together, so that you end up with groups of pictures, clusters of pictures. Can I automate it? Can I see that my computer works for this problem? Right? Yes, we have got many clustering strategies today. Anyway, so look at here. I am just presenting you. There are couple of oranges. There are many elephants coming together. There are pictures of passport pictures of individuals. Capsicum, Mysore pork. I mean, I presented you. Now I am telling you that I have got about 5 categories of 5 varieties of patterns. One varieties of pattern, set of oranges, set of animals, especially elephants, capsicum, etc. I just have presented to you. After having got these presented to you, I just put one more picture without a label. Look at it. I got this oranges labeled as orange, elephants, men, capsicum, Mysore pork. I am talking about 5 groups of different patterns, and each group is labeled. Now I have got another one, a single example, which is not labeled with, but I have a question. Where does it belong? Does it go to orange class? Does it go to elephant class? Does it go to men class? Does it go to capsicum? Does it go to miss? Which class does it go? And I'm sure that you would all say that it goes to men class. Look, in the men class, there is nothing like the same Abdul Kalamji's photography, right? So C.V. Raman's photos there, different men photos were there, but this photo is not part of it. In spite of it, you would say that this goes to that men class. The question is, what made you to decide that? If I can understand the way in which you do it, the way in which my brain works to put into the class called men class and algorithmically represent it and put on the computers so that computers start working for me and solving this problem, then I say that computer has learned to classify an unknown photo into a member of a known class. This is what another way of learning. This is learning is happening because I just have got you labeled examples. Whereas here I had not given you anything with labels. I have given you everything without labels. But you started labeling them, library, food item, advertisement. Here I had given you the labels now, and then classify. These are the two varieties of learning we generally do in our life. And the same strategies are being programmed and inculcated into computing technology. And this type of learning through examples which are labeled, so that I become capable of labeling an unknown, is called supervised learning, right? That's what is called classification. The other one is not classification. Look at here now. I got some photography, some examples, but I have not labeled them. Nothing is labeled. How do I understand this group? When I attempt to understand, or anybody attempts to understand, perhaps may understand this way. Oh, there are photos of male class. There are photos of female, and there are photos of fruits. Categorized into three groups. One is male, another one is female, yet another is fruits. So categorized into three groups. Why these three groups? Why can't the other way? The other way is there are photographies of only politicians. I mean, I don't go with the gender based, I go with profession based. The other the photographies of four people, two male, two female, but they are from film industries, and two fruits. This is another way of understanding, right? Yet another way of understanding is these are the male politicians, these are the male actors, these are the female politicians, female actress, and fruits. Five classes, 5 classes. Which way is the best way? Nobody knows that. I cannot objectively say that this way is the best way. What is the purpose of your study? What do you want to do after your study, right? Would you like to classify an unknown photography later as only male politician, male actor? Or you want them to simply say male or female? If you want to simply say male or female, go with this class. If you want to see that politician, not a politician, go with this class. If you want to say, in addition to that, male politician or female politician, you go with this way. I mean, what is your purpose? Why do you want to study? Subsequently, what do you want to do? That decides the method of learning. That's what I mean. In the last lecture, CBCS education, we have to counsel students and you just have to find out their dreams. What the boy wanted to be in future. If the boy wanted to be a person working for Baba Atomic Research Center in Bombay, please encourage him not to take any biological science, but to take courses in physical science. If somebody wants to be a software engineer, encourage him to take computational science, courses from computational science. But he doesn't know what to study to become a scientist in ISRO, right? Aeronautical, you just encourage them. I mean, let them choose anything, any courses of his interest, right? It's not to force him to choose based on what you want to be. Subsequently, you got to mentor him, you got to help him out, you got to counsel him to choose only those courses. That's what I'm telling you here. So learning possibilities are many, but which learning modality is the best way? It all depends on the purpose of learning. So students should be given, highlights on what is the purpose of his interest, learning. So unless otherwise, you cannot counsel him about selecting the best courses of his interest. Anyway, once these learn, once these objects are learned into 5 categories, now I want this photo to be classified. Then I am sure that those who have seen the pictures of Indira Gandhi would love to classify as female politician, because you understood that she is a politician. Otherwise, because she is as beautiful as these young girls, on the other side, the actress, perhaps Indira Gandhi photo will be classified to be one of the actors. Anyway, she can be a member of both. So, unsupervised learning. Look at here is some example. So there is a campus like University of Mysore, which is highly, secured with the support of human individuals today. And when I drive my car into my campus, so there is somebody watching me driving, and then because he is familiar with me every day going into the campus, he opens up the gate. I don't want that security guard. Instead, I want a camera setup. Let the camera setup capture the pictures and look at the number plate of my car, and then understand that it is Guru's car and Guru himself is driving or his driver is driving, then automatically gate has got to be opened. Today it has been realized. It's working model I'm talking about, if not in our campus. This is another example of automation of tile inspection system. So this I am presenting probably this slide which I created 13 years back.
Yaro.
Okay, during that period itself.
Sushma madam.
Hello.
Just horagodru.
Supriya,
madam.
Yeah, ma'am, please.
Dr. Supriya, please mute your audio.
Okay, sorry, sir.
So look at the tiles were manufactured, and soon after manufacturing of tiles were over, then tiles were placed on a conveyor belt, and beneath the conveyor belt there will be a sequence of cameras, and each camera is supposed to capture the picture of the tiles passing through in different orientation. And the captured pictures of the tiles get matched against the reference pictures. If there is any mismatch against the reference picture, then the tile used to be rejected. Otherwise, tiles gets accepted. This is an automation process of quality assurance, right? Every industry has got a quality assurance cell, but now every industry is thinking of automation of quality assurance cell. For that automation, obviously, artificial intelligence matters a lot. Okay, that's why NEP structure has got A as a compulsory course today. So your graduate should have some knowledge on all these, so that E suits into industry, so that employability will be increased. So this is into forensic applications. Look at, so there is something which was earlier written and striked out that could be recollected, that could be recovered back. So that was 10,000 was written, and then if you want, you can beautify it, by eliminating some noisy data and so on. So your forensic applications find you cannot see anything, even if you see some not noticeable, but you can guess about the pictures, but not clear. This is all about image processing, So what do? We process this image, we do some mathematical operations on it so that it becomes more visible, clearly visible. I can enhance further its quality. I mean, improvement in the quality, appearance, visual appearance of a picture. This is quality enhancement. So look at, in case if you happen to be in Himalayan, region now in the month of December, there is a snow, mist, whatnot. Clarity is not there. Even if somebody is standing 1 meter away from you, you cannot see him. Vision gets lost. But don't forget to take a picture, and remember that you would present in the picture first. Ask your friend to take up your picture, in spite of you are not visible through a camera, but let the camera capture the picture. Bring that picture to my laboratory. I do some image processing on that. Once I do the processing on it, I can get the pictures more clear, so that I can get you are hidden inside. I can see that your portion is more clearly visible. This is what the technology today. So look at, you can see a couple of 1 or 2 persons in the left side, but you cannot see the top right. But there are many faces in the picture. This is raw. This is processed. There are many. This is a Star Trek team, responsible for very popular serial on television. So you must have heard of biometric, and I'm sure that your institutions have deployed biometric authentication system where you have got to give your fingerprint, and based on the fingerprint, your attendance will be automatically taken. These are all technology, computational technology, right? So in the area of life sciences, we have tremendous influence, agriculture sciences, food industries, plant sciences, animal sciences, medical sciences. In medical sciences today, without computers, no doctor is functioning, right? On a later side, sometimes I make fun out of it that today, actually, when there is an operation of any part of a body of a patient, earlier the people or the doctor used to give a local anesthesia. If they wanted to operate this right hand, they used to give a local anesthesia so that I don't experience the paining here while operating. But today, irrespective of the body, the doctor always gives a general anesthesia so that I will never notice anything. Why? The reason is the doctors don't want patient to understand that it is not the human being who is operating the body, it is a robot who is operating the body. And a later side, I am telling that we don't like the patient to understand that human individuals are not operating, some computers are operating. So that if you understand that computers are operating and no human being is there monitoring that, then suddenly you may go off, right? So that's what is technology today. Medical science. Without radiology, no medical. Without radiology, no medical science. So harvesting. So harvesting means, look at, I'm a layman. I am not that good in classifying fruits into, ripened fruits or unripened fruits. I have a big, mango plantation. I have about 10 acres of mangoes. Let's assume that. So during season of mangoes, I go and look at the mangoes. But unfortunately, I'm a layman. I don't understand whether mangoes are ready to ripen or not yet ready to ripen. Then can I think of an app where I go with a mobile phone and capture the picture of a mango? The moment I show the picture of a mango, the mobile should say that, Guru, you can harvest it. It is already ripened or matured, so that you can harvest it and keep it for 1 or 2 days at home so that it becomes ripened mango. So can I think of an app for that? So that's a smart computing technology for farmers. Okay. So evaluating crops, and then looking at herbicides, and you have technology for many activity like this. So grading of mangoes, grading of fruits in general, and then classifying mangoes from other fruits if they are mixed, and so on. There are many such activities being taken place, and respective robots are being developed. So AI in food industries. Right, AI in food industry, store management, process management, quality check and packing, right? Everything is automated. So actually, Indian mangoes were banned in 2014 because of no technology to grade the mangoes, right? So unfortunately, inside the mango, there is a small black colored tissue, so that the moment you cut it, you will notice it. So that mangoes are not good for health. You have to throw them. But before cutting, can I decide, is it a good mango or a bad mango? So that's a technology which we were looking for in 2014, and now partially it is solved. So if you go to Google and type in my name, you will find 1 or 2 publications related to grading of mangoes, and automatic classification of mangoes without cutting, non-destructive technology for classification of mangoes into 2. One is mangoes which are internally good. Another one is mangoes which are internally bad, right? Without cutting. That's the technology. So this is the overall architecture of such a working system. Animal sciences, like monitoring the health status of an animal, like dog. If you can watch the animal and say there is something wrong in the animal. If you could watch your boy or a son or a daughter, looking at her face, looking at her, the way in which she walks and communicates with you, you say that probably you're uncomfortable today. If you can do so, why not the camera, right? So that's what is called health monitoring, animal biometric, wildlife. Look at here, recognizing what type of animal is that, look at the gait and the style with which it walks, and then decide the face, and then decide and there are many, and then tracking of animal, right, and so on and so forth. So medical sciences, you say orthopedicians generally use many imaging systems have come out, starting from X-ray till MR scanning today, right? Okay, so this is what myself and my couple of colleagues have worked together in the last 2020 when lockdown period was there due to COVID-19. I want you to observe this. Please see this. This is into a social distance violation. So these are the pictures. These are the videos which we captured by drone camera, and these are the pictures of Bangalore city. So look at, there are some rectangles were written, calculating the distances between the rectangle, objects were identified, there were people moving. So those were identified. These are this is the problem which we suddenly solved during pandemic situation last year, 2020 June, in the month of May, June. So drone camera, drone is used to capture continuously the pictures of the city, and then automatically this laptop used to mark and detect the vehicle, detect the human being, and then calculating the distances. If any two persons walking together with negligible distance, or less than the threshold specified, then the system used to say that give an alarm that there are people violating social distance and so on. This is a timely solution which we could propose from our laboratory. And in fact, I worked for some computer vision laboratory as a consultant and given them some solutions for deployment of this model. Okay. Similarly, cough detection. Look at here, I say, let me run this, and I appreciate you all watching this video. Look at on the top left, crowd dispersed, crowd detected. If you see many people going together, then it says crowd detected. If those people who are going together disappear, then it's a crowd dispersed. Right? Look at crowd. So we can deploy this type of cameras. No crowd at all now. Look at, there is no crowd. Now suddenly crowd started. Okay. So instead of displaying this message, you can see that you can set up an alarm. Then alarm will be generated whenever there is a crowd suddenly. So that's a smart cameras we are talking about. Okay. So there are many other challenges. Look at especially my problem today is, especially in online education. I don't know how many of you are really concentrating and enjoy listening my lecture, watching the videos which I am displaying, or looking at the slides which I am presenting in front of you. I have my own doubt. If you are 30 in number out of 30, I doubt if 25 of you are really alert and listening my lecture. Among those 25 who are alert and listening my lecture, how many of you are really appreciating my lecture? How many of you are really finding what is called irritating my lecture? You may consider that my lecture is very boring. How many of you? Perhaps instead of giving online lectures, had I conducted offline lectures, I should have looked at your facial expressions, and based on the facial expressions, I must have estimated that out of 30 participants, 25 are really alert and 5 are not alert. Amongst 5, somebody, one candidate has completely closed eyes and started sleeping. That I can understand. And in the remaining 4, 2 people are keeping only camera on but CPU completely off, looking at me but without listening. And the other 2 are closing the cameras but listening me and enjoying. I can classify you people looking at your facial expressions. And amongst other 25, some of you are really finding interesting and some of you are really finding it difficult to understand. The moment I understand that there are a couple of participants who find it difficult to understand my lecture, I repeat my lecture with some other example. Right? This is how I conduct the classes. But I cannot do so in online education because your face is not at all visible. Even if visible, then video has got to be kept on, and the network, congestion starts because many 30 video stream is coming and operating on my screen. I have to look at all videos. Very, very challenging. Can I think of an app, an application, computer application, API, which are deployed on your computers? The moment you log into Zoom will deploy such an app on your computer. So your computer camera started working, and camera at your level itself, on your computer itself, has to sense you and understand your facial expression. If you are good and find happy, then it doesn't communicate anything for me. If you started sleeping, then it should understand that at so and so time he started sleeping. Then when you become alert, then it set up a time. Then during this interval of 10 minutes, then he started sleeping. He was in sleep mode. Then next 10 minutes he was alert. Next 10 minutes he was simply looking at me but not listening you. Next 10 minutes he enjoyed listening you. The facial expression is so happy. Then for about 75 minutes, I want the track information. And for every one of you, there is a database created. Only that information, extracted information, should be. I mean, while you are attending my lecture, had there been somebody monitoring you attending my lecture at your residence, perhaps I want him to summarize me about your participation. Similar summary has got to be created automatically, and only that summary should be shared across the internet. Can I think of? That is my problem today. We've started working on this problem, how to understand the facial expression of a participant, facial expression of a student, and then generate the summary, how much you has understood, so that teacher looks at that summary, and then next class he will modify his lecturing. So this is what other challenges, many challenges. That's what I say: classroom attendance taking, classroom monitoring, right, and so on. So these are some activity detection. The first top, left picture says entry action. Somebody is entering into shop. The bottom right says that people are exiting. So given is a camera, there are people entering, there are people exiting. Activity detection, exit and entry activities. How to classify that? How to make system intelligent? Look at here. There is a person standing. He is myself standing here. Those who are familiar with me can understand. Otherwise, please look at this is a person standing me watching these people playing, and watch this video shot. Yeah, the moment he has fallen down, the people make a crowd, right, and take care. If I want this activity to be detected and immediately the signal should be sent across, right? So that's what is called monitoring, sports event. So sometimes it happens that, we just, whenever somebody, we put that, you are under surveillance camera. Then if somebody wants to do some mischief, then what does he do? He tries to first hide the camera, use a kerchief, keep it on the camera. Then camera should start alarming. Somebody is hiding me so that I cannot watch. So look at, that's what is called, intrusion detection. So camera should generate an alarm so that I'll come to know. I have kept my camera, in front of my residence. If somebody wants to, take away some objects in my car parking place, then he understands that there is a camera will notice. First, he will come and hide the camera. Then he can do whatever he wants. The moment he hides the camera should sense me a signal stating that, Guru, somebody is hiding me, so that I can take care of it suddenly. This is what is another activity. So there are many. Look at this is some civil work going on, but people have to work with some safety jackets and others because it's a very dangerous environment. So can we find people, if anybody, who is not wearing helmet? Right? I mean, you can imagine you are riding vehicle without helmet, two-wheeler without helmet. The traffic inspector looks at you and then catches you and then put a penalty. Instead of that, let there be a camera signals you, sends you, and then classify that you are a rider with a helmet or rider without helmet. If in case you are a rider without helmet, automatically the number plate has got to be recognized. Then the owner of that vehicle should be given a notice. Can we think of? There are certain problems. This is, please look at. I appreciate you people watching somebody here with a blue dress. Here with a blue dress. Please continue watching. I will explain later. See, this is a real video. It happened in real time. Had there been the same only one guy working for the problem, working for the project, working on that task without others in such an environment, in case if the similar situation happens, when he was alone and next day only it will be noticed, by the time he will die. Can we have a camera setup? Not to notice this event has happened, but to instruct him. Had there been some mastery who concentrated on that person climbing up the ladder, he must have instructed him, be careful. Can we think of computing system which instructs or which helps the people to be careful always? That's another application of this. This is a Bangalore traffic. So the problem is to find the this one side of the road, a corner of this part of the road where there is a lane here. That side only heavy vehicles are allowed. No cars are allowed. No two-wheelers are allowed. But there are people who are with driving with car and two-wheeler, right? That police people really find it very difficult to find out those people who are violating the rules. Can we think of deploying a camera setup and recognize the number plates and classifying the people who are not violating the rule, who are violating the rule, and then give them a show cause notice through email by fetching the data from the RTOs and so on. Then we worked on some number plate recognition also. Look at this is a video where you can see here numbers, car number is displayed, recognized and displayed. Please observe carefully. You see, along with the cars, there will be an additional display of number plates. I mean, automatically computer reads the number plate of a car. Look at the blue color. There is a number displayed. Recognized number, right? So this is a number plate recognition for police department. This is another interesting, application which we worked recently. This is a safety zone of airport. Actually, what you see in the right top corner is the airport. Okay, this is the airport, and these are the gates where only authenticated vehicles, trucks are allowed to get in, and these are many trucks which are not getting into the airport. Then we are going to track the trucks which are trying to enter through these gates, 1 and 2 gates, and then we got to calculate how many trucks are there in the queue and what is the dwell time of a truck waiting in a queue, how longer that trucks were waited in a queue, and at a given instant of time, how many trucks were there in the queue. These have got to be automatically calculated. Only that calculation statistics has got to be displayed like this. This is what is expected on the dashboard. This database has got to be inferred out of it, right? Okay. So let me just run, and I wish this is about 2-3 minutes video. Let me not spend 2 minutes. Look at that truck got detected here, and this truck got detected here. Another truck will be detected. Unless the system is sure that the trucks are on this lane, other trucks are not detected. Look at, though it is a truck, this truck is not. Though this is a truck passing through, this is not detected because this truck is not trying to enter through that zone. Right? Look at, this is also a truck, but it goes on a different lane that doesn't get detected. How to make the system so intelligent, identifying first the trucks and only those trucks which are trying to enter into the zone of my interest. Okay, a red truck is not detected. It will never be identified at all because it is on a different lane. Look at, there is a lengthy, very long truck, coming from this side that gets detected only when it enters into the lane. Now it gets detected, right? So this is ultimately, I want this dashboard to be created. Video should not be displayed. Video should not be communicated across. Only video is for sensing, and camera has to generate. That what I call it as a smart camera. There are many such applications. Driverless car we are talking about, automation of attendance, small televisions. You are watching television. No, television started watching us in our residence. Okay, so smart digital. So friends, I have my specific laboratory which is known for this type of machine learning activities in my department. We labeled it